Victor, front right here. Victor.
All right.
Here. How you doing? I'm curious, big match, big main event match for you. I'm curious, does this just feel bigger to you just knowing, you're here at a UFC media day, you're talking to media that doesn't normally cover jiu-jitsu, usually cover MMA, but the UFC seems to really getting behind the sport, and obviously you being in the main event. I'm curious just how this week as a whole has been like for you.
Definitely feels different. I think we train, we live for moments like this. We win tournaments, everything kind of like more in our niche of our sport, but having a chance to kind of like break out of that niche and be here today is something that we work really hard for, and I'm really excited, just grateful. Nick is a tough opponent, and also what a good opponent for me to have this opportunity with, because he has a big brand. I think he's the most winning guy inside this promotion, so I think it's just a perfect opportunity for me.
Well, speaking of Nicky, obviously he was in here and he said, he has a better understanding of the sport. He's not really putting too much emotion into this matchup as a whole. You obviously have a lot of experience and a lot of positive experiences against him in the matchup. So what are you expecting from Nicky when you do match up with him again?
He's a really smart competitor. I see him coming in trying something new. I can see him trying to do that, but I think I covered all bases on my training. I try to be really dynamic with my approach. I told somebody earlier that I have been on the FPI before as the lighter guy. I fought somebody 40 pounds heavier than I was. I fought somebody the same weight as me, and now I'm the heavier guy against him. So it will be something different, but I look forward to implement my game. I know he's sharp. He's coming off big wins. He's a millionaire now, but he's also a dad. So there's two weights to it. So I look forward to see how that plays out and just have fun, put on a show, and represent my country and myself.
Have you seen an evolution in his skill set since your previous, like from your first time matching up with him to now? Have you seen a progression, or is he relatively kind of the same grappler as back then?
There was. It's funny because every time we competed, there was always something like, oh, I was just a blue belt and he's a world champion. Oh, in that match, I was just a purple belt and he was a world champion. So we faced each other as the black belts. And since then, I haven't seen any excuses from him. But although I'll give him credit, he has gotten way better in jiu-jitsu. I think our matches just got better and better. But for this one, I think it has a lot of potential, because I feel like I'm more confident on his game lately. I think he got a few submissions on this past year, and I think that kind of like builds up on his game, and I think that will have him willing to go more for submissions and push the pace for this match. I think whenever he sees somebody like me that has more experience, you could say, like, I've been doing this for a longer time, he probably was holding back a little bit. So I see him being more bold for this matchup that we have tomorrow.
And just last one for me, because I've been asking everyone up here. The big hot topic in jiu-jitsu now is, the banned substances. Fighters guys like you or Mikey and Nicky Rod, they've all been outspoken against it. And they said this partnership with the UFC is a good first step to kind of getting rid of the banned substance in the sport. I'm curious, what do you make of, do you think that is the first good step, and how long will it take to kind of wipe out banned substances in competitive jiu-jitsu?
Yeah, I think it's a good start. The main thing also with like the aspect of banned substances is in the jiu-jitsu, the most boring guys would be the one abusing it the most. So it would be like a mix of like bad fights and like a bunch of roided up dudes just like pushing each other around. So I see like these new faces of jiu-jitsu nowadays. We're standing for something, but also delivering entertainment on the mats. So I think that's pretty cool. And when it comes to that, it's about longevity as well. Nowadays we have really young people join the sport. So the more you push that narrative, I think the more toxic it is for the younger generations. And, we're here right now in the spotlight. We want to make sure to leave a good example for them. So I think that's my thought behind that, yeah. Thank you.
Victor, how disappointing were you? In the result of CJI last year? Everybody expected you and Nicky in the main event. Can you just talk about that?
Oh yeah, man, it was. I don't like to say hardship, but it was kind of hard, like I lost there, I got injured, I was out of the mats for a while. I had my dad, family over from Brazil to kind of spend time and kind of like chill, and then my dad ended up having a heart attack, so made it even worse. So it was kind of like dark times, but I feel that's why I feel so grateful to be here today. Like, I went through some hardships, but I feel good now. And I also thank Nicky for the opportunity, because he's just off a big win, he's off a big moment, and to accept somebody to have you lose 3 times to face in a big stage somewhere where he hasn't lost yet, I think it takes a lot of courage, and props to him. But yeah, it definitely was a tough phase. But I think that's what it's about, every champion, he goes through that through those times, and you gotta, shine the light on you and push forward. And that's how I felt. I feel healthy, I feel good, and I look forward to show my newest version tomorrow.
This might be a silly question, but you've grappled him 3 times, you've beat him all 3 times. Do you think that is like in the back of his head a little bit?
I would think so, but I think both of us, him more lately, we strive for the submission. You know how much of an impact it is when you win by submission. I think from MMA, when you win by knockout versus when you win by split decision, there's a big, there's a big influence there. So you always want to make sure that you're going to deliver the submission because you want to make a statement. So on our previous matches, we haven't submitted each other yet. So even though I have the wins, I think we have unsettled business, if you could say that. So I kind of have this feeling. I have won, like I like winning, but I think he also feels the same way, like, oh, he has beat me, but he has submitted me yet. So I think that's kind of like what brings the fighter behind this match, like I think we have more to prove. As I said, we haven't settled business, and I look forward to set it tomorrow.
And finally for me, do you think the rule set for tomorrow favors you or him, or do you think it just does not matter?
I will be quite interested because if you end up going to the overtime, we actually never fought with scoring. I think a couple times we fought before, it was always just like submission only. So I think he's a guy that plays well with the points because of his wrestling background. He's really athletic. So if you had to favor somebody, maybe him. But yeah, I don't really care about it. As I said, I'm confident, but definitely the points behind it make it a little more trickier to face a wrestler and athletic guy like him.
Good luck.
Thank you. All right, thank you guys.